Alright, let's talk about that chaotic, last-minute, heart-in-mouth win over Motherwell. Celtic 3, Motherwell 2. A game that felt like it was going to slip away from us, but somehow, someway, we pulled it out of the fire in the dying seconds. Now let's be honest here, it wasn't pretty. In fact, it was scrappy, frustrating, and downright painful to watch at times. But at this point in the season, with the pressure rising and performances stuttering, 3 points is all that really matters. And for a team that's been playing with more nerves than rhythm lately, this one might just be the jolt we needed. Or at least we hope so. From the very first whistle, there was an unease about Celtic's play. For changes to the starting 11, Schmeichel between the sticks, Ralston in for Donovan, Sarah coming in on the left, Hatate and McKenna starting in midfield. It looked like a team trying to reset after some below-par performances, but the reality on the pitch was far from a fresh start. The passing was slack, decision-making was rushed, and the tempo, if we can even call it that, was painfully slow. Players you'd normally rely on to bring calm and control were making basic errors. McGregor, Hatate, Ralston, Maeda, all guilty of giving the ball away in areas that made your heart skip a beat. That's not just one or two players off the pace. That's a full team lacking sharpness, confidence, and direction. The first goal came from a penalty. Now, fair enough, Iheanacho tucked it away nicely, but let's not pretend it came off the back of some sustained pressure or dominance. It was a handball, a spot kick, and a goal out of nothing, really. And if anyone thought that would calm us down and bring some structure to the play, they were mistaken. We had a wee spell where it looked like the team might finally settle, but it was short-lived. Before long, we were back to the careless, ponderous stuff that's been haunting us in recent games. Motherwell's equalizer? A total self-inflicted mess. Ralston's heavy touch gets the headlines. But for me, the bigger issue was McKenna's pass in the build-up. Deep in our own half, playing a telegraphed ball 20-odd yards across the pitch to a man under pressure. It's asking for trouble. And when it came, we panicked. Motherwell pressed well, punished the mistake, and scored with their only real threat in the box. Defenders just standing about watching the danger unfold. No urgency. No reaction. That's where we are just now, passive and unsure. Second half starts, and things go from bad to worse. Sarah stands on a foot in the box, VAR catches it, and the penalty is given. Again, it's not the kind of clumsy foul that comes from trying to win the ball. It's a lapse in concentration, a player not switched on. Motherwell take the lead, and at that point, you could feel the fear creep in. The crowd turns, the atmosphere gets heavy, and every misplaced pass starts to feel like a crisis. Celtic Park wasn't quite toxic, but it was on edge. You could feel the frustration bubbling. Now credit where it's due, Motherwell came with a plan. They tried to play football, passed it from the back, moved well, and didn't seem rattled by the occasion. That kind of approach from a visiting team at Parkhead is rare, and honestly, a bit refreshing. But it also opened the door for us. And when they tried to play out one too many times, their keeper gifted the ball straight to Negrin. A total howler. Negrin wasn't missing from there. 2-2. And suddenly the place wakes up again. The fans are back on side. The team finds a bit of belief. And for the first time in the match, you start to feel like maybe, just maybe, we could steal this. Then came the winner. And to be fair, it was a proper goal. Engels with the ball into space. Bali Shah with the awareness and control, one touch to set himself. Then the perfect cross for Maeda to head home. The movement, the finish, that's what you want to see. A 93rd minute winner at Celtic Park is always special, but this one felt particularly needed. Not just for the 3 points, but for the relief, for the morale, for the belief that maybe we're not as far gone as we fear. But let's not kid ourselves. That result papered over a lot of cracks. This wasn't Celtic grinding out a tough win with composure and control. This was Celtic scrambling, panicking, and surviving, and just about pulling through. Rodgers has a massive job on his hands. Too many players aren't performing. Ralston had another nightmare. That's 2 in a row now, and it's hard to understand why Donovan wasn't even in the squad. If he's fit, he plays. Simple as that. And with Johnston hopefully returning soon, that right side needs sorted fast. The forward line's a mess too. Maeda got the winner, and fair play to him. But he was anonymous for large spells on the right. He's clearly more effective on the left or through the middle. But then who do you put on the right? Forrest? Not consistent anymore. Young? Not up to it. Bali Shah? Doesn't suit that side. There's no obvious solution, and that's worrying. We're relying on patchwork and hope. The midfield, though, that's the biggest issue. No control, no drive, no rhythm. And unlike other areas, we don't have players returning from injury to change that. This is the group we've got until January. And unless Rodgers pulls something clever out of the hat, it's going to be a long, slow trudge through the next 3 months. There are positives, though. A few of the new boys are showing heart. Negrin's goal, Belisha's assist, Tekti's energy. You can see these lads care. This means something to them. They're living every moment, fighting for every ball. And maybe that's what we need right now. Players with something to prove. Rodgers needs to start trusting the ones who are hungry. The ones who still feel like they have to earn it. Because far too many of the old guard look like they've checked out. That's where the shift needs to happen. Not just tactically, but mentally. It's time to stop relying on reputation and start rewarding attitude. The guys who actually look like they want to be here, those are the ones who'll drag us through. Whether we like it or not, this is going to be a grind. The next run of games is absolutely massive. Hearts away, a semi-final against Rangers. Europa League matches we cannot afford to lose. There's no room for passengers. We need every single player switched on and scrapping for results. What happens next is the real question, isn't it? We've seen this kind of thing before. A dramatic winner, scenes at full time, belief briefly restored, and then back to square one the next game. Celtic can't afford that kind of cycle anymore. This run after the international break, it's make or break. 8 games, including a trip to Tenerife, a semi-final against Rangers at Hampton, and 2 must-win matches in Europe. This isn't just about performances anymore. It's about survival, in the title race, in the cup, in Europe. And right now, looking at the state of the team, it's hard to feel totally confident. Rodgers knows it too. You can hear it in his interviews. He's not blind to the problems. He talks a lot about heart, about mentality, about digging deep. That's all well and good, but we need more than spirit. Celtic teams of the past have had spirit and quality. This one is struggling badly with the second part. The intensity's missing. The control's missing. The hunger, at times, seems to be missing. And you wonder how long we can rely on these moments of individual brilliance or opposition mistakes to carry us through. Take a step back and look at the league table, and it doesn't look awful. We're still right in the mix, haven't lost a league match yet, and in theory, everything's still in our hands. But then you dig a bit deeper, and you realize how close we've come to dropping points again and again. 3 of our 5 league wins have come thanks to goals in the 87th minute or later. That's not dominance. That's desperation. And you have to ask, is it sustainable? It's not just about bad luck or a dip in form either. It's structural. The midfield isn't functioning. The right side of the pitch looks broken. And the build-up play, which used to be a hallmark of Rodgers' first spell, now feels slow, predictable, and unthreatening. There's no real identity in our play right now. No confidence. And even worse, no sign of that changing anytime soon unless there's a real shift, either in selection, in attitude, or both. That's why it's so important that Rodgers starts putting his trust in the players who are showing something. Belisha's assist was a turning point in the game, but more than that, it was a sign that he's starting to figure out what it means to play for Celtic. He looked up, took a breath, and delivered the right ball at the right time. That's not just instinct. That's growing into the shirt. Negrin is the same. He didn't hesitate. He pounced on a mistake and buried it. That hunger, that readiness, it's what's been missing from some of the more established players. Even Iheanacho, who maybe isn't fully firing yet, showed real leadership in moments. You could see him barking instructions, driving the press, and celebrating with proper passion. These are the things that lift a team when the football's not flowing. And right now, let's be honest, the football is far from flowing. That's why Rodgers needs to embrace the new blood. Stop clinging to the comfort picks. If someone isn't performing, they don't play. It's as simple as that. Reputations don't win titles. Performances do. There's also a major issue with tempo. Everything is just far too slow. That was one of the most frustrating parts of the game against Motherwell. Sideways passes. Waiting too long to make decisions. No movement off the ball. When we're playing at walking pace, it's so easy to defend against us. And to make it worse, when we do lose the ball, we look completely exposed. There's no structure in transition. It's chaotic. And in Europe, or against the top teams in Scotland, that's a recipe for disaster. The positive spin on all of this is that, despite everything, We're still in touching distance of the top. Hearts are ahead of us, but only just. Rangers, who are now without a manager, are 9 points behind. But again, we can't take that for granted. A new manager comes in, gets them organized, and suddenly the gap can disappear. We've seen it happen before. So while it's tempting to focus on the table and say, we're fine, the performances tell a different story. And if we're honest, most fans feel it. There's a restlessness growing. The atmosphere at Celtic Park isn't what it used to be. The nerves are back. The impatience. That sense that the crowd is just waiting for the next mistake. It's not toxic yet, but it's not far off. And that affects the players, especially the ones who aren't used to this level of scrutiny. Rodgers spoke about it. The weight of the jersey, the daily pressure. Some players thrive in that. Others don't. And the manager needs to start recognizing who fits which category. The upcoming fixtures leave no room for error. Newcastle is always a battle. Hearts are flying, and they'll fancy their chances. Hampton against Rangers, no matter how they're playing, is never a gimme. And the Europa League games? We absolutely need to take at least 4 points from Sturm Graz and Milan, or we're done. No excuses. No more slip-ups. This is it. This is the stretch where we see what this team is really made of. And that's why the coaching team needs to make every day of this international break count. Sure, a lot of the players will be away on duty, but for the ones who remain, this has to be about clarity, about sharpening things up, about building a system that actually suits the players we have. We can't come back against Dundee looking like we've learned nothing. The fans won't accept that. And frankly, the league table won't either. Rodgers also needs to take a long, hard look at the balance of the squad. Too many pieces that don't quite fit together. A right wing that doesn't have a natural starter. A midfield lacking bite. A defense that panics under pressure. These aren't minor issues. These are fundamental. And if we can't fix them tactically, then we need to fix them mentally. Get the players drilled, confident, and ready to fight for every point. Because right now, every single point matters. There's also the wider picture to consider. The board, the recruitment, the fan engagement. That meeting between club officials and the fan groups, that's long overdue. Transparency is key. The supporters aren't blind. They see the performances. They feel the drift. And unless the club starts showing a bit more leadership off the pitch, that disconnect is only going to grow. Celtic is a club built on unity, on shared values between the terraces and the pitch. That feels fragile at the moment. And it's up to the people in charge to repair it. On the pitch, it's simple. Win games. Show desire. Build momentum. Off the pitch, it's about honesty and communication. A banner here, a meeting there, it's a start. But it needs to go deeper. The fans need to believe that the people running the club actually want the same thing they do. And that starts by listening, by acting, and by taking responsibility. So here we are. A last-minute winner gave us some breathing room, some relief, maybe even a flicker of hope. But unless that's the spark that lights a fire, we're just delaying the inevitable. The problems are still there. The work still needs done. And if this team wants to do more than just survive, they've got a massive job ahead of them. The road back to top form starts now, and there's no time to waste. Before we proceed, subscribe to our channel and enable notifications to receive all exclusive news about Celtic FC. Don't miss any details about your favorite team. It's extremely important for Celtic FC fans. Whispers are growing louder around Glasgow's East End this week. And if the chatter is to be believed, Celtic could be on the verge of pulling off one of the most commanding defensive signings in recent memory. The name on everyone's lips? None other than Scotland international Scott McKenna, a player long admired by the Parkhead faithful, and one whose return north of the border could shake the very foundations of the Premiership. Sources close to the club hint that negotiations have reached an advanced stage, with McKenna said to be keen on a move that would not only bring him back to Scottish soil, but also offer a genuine shot at Champions League football once more. The towering centre-half, known for his no-nonsense tackling and aerial prowess, has reportedly grown restless after limited opportunities abroad. For Celtic, who have been craving leadership and steel at the back, McKenna looks like the perfect fit. Fans have taken to social media in anticipation, with many calling this the missing piece in Brendan Rodgers' defensive puzzle. The boys' backline has come under scrutiny in recent months, and insiders claim Rodgers has made defensive reinforcement his top priority before the January window slams shut. McKenna, still only in his late 20s, offers experience without the wear and tear of an aging veteran, and his Scottish roots make him an even more attractive prospect for the Hoops faithful. While no official confirmation has surfaced, murmurs from Lennoxtown suggest preparations are already underway for his unveiling. Some even claim a medical could take place within days. If true, Celtic would be sending a clear message to the rest of the league. The champions aren't merely defending their crown, they're fortifying it. For now, it remains a rumor, but a rumor that feels increasingly real. Should McKenna don the green and white hoops, it could mark the start of a new era of defensive dominance at Celtic Park. Rivals, take note. The fortress is being rebuilt. Hello, fan. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, as it means a lot to Celtic FC. Also, share your opinion about the news in the comments below. See you in the next video.